Hey guys, on the road today. Thought I would do a video on how I think that there is a perfect storm of scammers in our industry, that the door is opening a little wider than it used to. We did a live show last week where we talked about how the state of Connecticut actually cracked down on a particular company who was doing unlicensed work that they were not licensed to do. I thought that brought up an interesting topic because as we see this labor shortage in our industry, seems to be less folks in the trades. And I know there's a lot of folks that are trying to help with that and fix that. But in reality, when you have the baby boomer generation who have now mostly retired or starting to retire, I think there might be still some of them in the workforce, but you see that generation, that large part of our population that is retiring or getting out of the game. There's not as many people to replace them. I think that opens the door to more folks getting into this industry that aren't so good at what they do. And here's why. When you see homeowners that, maybe they do call a good company, a good technician that's good at what they do and they're honest and all those things, well, a lot of those guys, especially this time of year, they're extremely busy. So during the recording of this, we're in the dead heat of summer here in Virginia. And I know there's other parts of the country that are even hotter than here. There's a big demand right now. There's folks that they need their air conditioning fixed and they need it fixed quickly. And I know there's a lot of companies that try to appease that in different ways. But in reality, anybody that's really good at what they do, they're busy right now. Kind of goes back to that old analogy of how do you know if a restaurant's good? Well, if you go in and it's super empty on a Saturday night, or you go by another restaurant where there's a line out the door, well, that kind of tells you something. One restaurant's going to be maybe better and, at least have better food than the other, right? I've got people that, I had somebody call us just the other day and say, how quickly can you get to us? It's an emergency. And I had to tell them, look, we're a little backed up right now. It might be a day or two. And they said, well, I'll call somebody else. I remember getting done with that conversation thinking, you might find somebody else that can get to you quicker, but you're going to be settling. You're going to go with a lower end technician. And I'm not saying I'm the best around here, but anybody that's as good as we are at what we do, they're busy too. So back to the topic at hand, when you have a shortage of folks, you've got a homeowner that needs their stuff fixed quickly and everybody that's good is now tied up. You've got this now opportunity for somebody that is trying to take advantage of situations like that to be able to insert themselves in there a whole lot easier than they would if, say, there wasn't a labor shortage, right? And so a lot of guys will say, well, it's supply and demand. My prices go up because I'm super busy, or my prices go down because I'm not busy. I need to get something on the schedule, and so I'm lowering my price, right? Well, I think that's one variable. I think there's guys that do that, and I think even some homeowners have gotten to where they expect that from certain heating and air companies. But I don't think that a lot of homeowners consider the fact that because now all the good ones are busy, or their prices are too high at this very moment, they settle for maybe someone not quite so good, somebody that can get to them right away, someone that maybe you might save a buck or two, but in the end, you end up having to spend even more money than you would have originally spent if you were to just say, wait for someone that's honest or good at what they do. So what do you do if you're a homeowner? Well, I guess if you know of somebody that's good, you might want to wait until they're available. If you know that they're good, you've either worked with them before or someone else told you that they're really good and they're busy, they can't get to you Johnny on the spot, maybe figure out a way that you can either get a temporary solution or stay somewhere until that air is fixed or whatever. So waiting for someone that's good. And the other thing I'll say is, just because there are exceptions to these rules, just because someone's not busy and they can get to you right away, maybe they just started out. Maybe they had something open up in their schedule. Maybe they're really good, but someone canceled on them. And now they've got this window of time that you just happen to call in. There's exceptions to every rule. I'm just saying in general, I have seen this perfect storm now where people that want to take advantage, people that want to scam folks and maybe even take your money and install a lower end system. They might charge you premium pricing because they can get to you right away, but then you're not really getting your money's worth, the value. You know, just different scams like that. And maybe you might say, well, Josh, that's not a scam. It's a little scammy when you're not giving the customer the value that you would normally. You're giving them a lower end solution at a higher end price. It's a little scammy, and I'm seeing it get worse as years go by, and I think it's going to continue that way. I think 10 years from now, you're going to see even more folks in our industry that are not necessarily doing things properly. And the last thing I'll say is I have sat through classes and been pitched different ideas. There's guys in our industry that they do these classes, or I can think of one guy in general, he does these conferences and he invites people to come there, and he's not doing conferences on teaching heating and air technicians how to be more accommodating to the customer, how to be more knowledgeable at fixing air conditioners, how to be more hospitality driven. No. His whole conference is how to make more money and how to charge more money and how to market things a certain way to make more money and all these different things. Now, again, before I get comments and people say, oh, Josh, you act like making money is a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying if you started a heating and air business and you went to this conference and learned ways that, you know, within a year you're driving a Bentley, you might be charging a little higher than what I would. Let's put it that way. It's just something that I thought of this morning. Some of the people who are helping on our website and some of the scamming type things that are going on right now. And I just think the door's open for more of that. You're going to see more folks doing things like that. It's just an ugly part of any industry. So what are your thoughts on this subject? I'd love to hear about them. Please comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy this one even more. Click here to watch when I toured the largest HVAC factory in North America. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.